Hi, welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down and comment down below. That is my favorite part. Today I'm just gonna do a get ready with me. I've been doing a lot of one looks with a palette and quick eye look with a voiceover, and I have the time right now to do a little get ready with me, so I figured that's what I would do. I've been preparing because I'm leaving out of state for a little bit, so I've been trying to dump and stuff over. I've been trying to film some stuff and to make sure that I have enough content for you guys, but also I have quite a few new palettes that I've been trying to work through, and doing, one look with them is easier and quicker, just so I can see if it's a palette I like or not. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna use this Hank and Henry Poison palette that I got in a Bizybeautystore box. I actually primed my eyes with the Urban Decay primer that I got from Busy Beauty too, which I am absolutely loving this. And for my primer on my face, I used this Marshmallow primer, so for the first time, and I got that in Busy Beauty box too. Anyways, I'm gonna go into this Foxglove shade. This palette, I love the packaging and I love a lot of the colors in it, but then I started looking and I'm like, this color story is going to make me think. That's the best way to describe it. It's a unique color story that I feel is a little bit all over the place, just a tad. So it's something that will make my creative juices run, which isn't a bad thing, though I think it might be a little bit confusing to some people. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just confusing for my brain. I don't know. So I'm super excited about this palette and excited to try this brand's eyeshadow formula, and I love the packaging, so I'm not complaining or anything, and my phone is not on silent. I'm sorry. Just 1 second. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Okay. Done. My kids were late to school today, so that was the school texting and emailing me that they were late. Oops. So yeah. That is that. Speaking of school, my God, I'm pulling my daughter out of the school. And she's going to be going to a different school because I just can't deal with them anymore. But yesterday I had this massive meeting that I had to call, and I had to get bigger, higher upper people outside of the school involved. So I had to request the special education director or runner, or the person who's in control of that whole department, that oversees things. I had to call her into the meeting because my daughter has a 504 plan and teachers aren't following it, which is illegal. And I needed somebody. I know my daughter really well, but I also don't know what kind of accommodations they can make, and I don't feel like the school even knows. So I called her in, and she didn't seem very happy. And I'm pretty sure that they got reamed when we left because the counselor is because the director was like, so are the teachers following these? And the counselor's like, well, I passed it around and asked the teachers, and some of them aren't really following it or trying to, and I told them they had to try to follow this. And the director's like, no, they don't have to try. This is required. They have to make these accommodations. Like, it makes them look like I could sue them. Like, yeah. So dealt with that, and then also adding more accommodations. And luckily I work in a school, so I asked other teachers too about accommodations that can be made, and found a few teachers who had some really valuable accommodations, and the director agreed with those accommodations and added them in. So I know that she's gonna make this school follow the plan. And then I had the equity director there because we're dealing with equity issues. This is really personal. So my daughter's trans. And we're dealing with a lot of issues from staffing and from students. And like, we have for many years, and it's just getting worse. So I had, once again, because I've met this lady and I've had her involved many times dealing with issues at this school when it comes to staff bullying my child, but also with students and just that whole aspect. So she was there, and that was my whole purpose too, was like, okay, so like, how's my daughter supposed to even be successful if she doesn't feel safe? Like, the foundation needs to be there, and that foundation is school being safe from staff and from students. And if you can't even protect her from staff, you most certainly can't protect her from students. So it's a big ordeal. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. So yeah, and if you have anything negative to say about my daughter being trans or being too young or anything about that, just go. Or don't say anything, because I really don't care. My daughter has been her authentic self since she was old enough to talk. And yeah, that's just been her. And I love her and I support her, and I would never destroy my daughter. So yeah, I don't care what you have to say. But anyways, so we're dealing with like massive issues at the school on multiple levels, and I'm just fucking fed up. So I'm moving her to a different school. Now, here's the thing. I could force the school district to provide transportation to this new school, because I'm gonna have to take her. And it's like, I live out in the country. There's no like city bus out here. It's gonna be like a 20 to 30 minute drive every day to and from school. So, and that's a lot. It's hard. It's hard. And so at this point, I had that meeting to, one, make my daughter safe, which isn't going to happen because I've had these meetings before multiple times, and two, to try and make her feel successful, and because she is failing all of her classes except for PE and music, but she shouldn't be. She's there every day, And the schools actually they're not supposed to be sending home homework, but she's unable to get her work done in class, so they're sending all of her classwork, all of it, home and requiring us to do it because she's not doing it at school. But she also has, I'm going to go into this one, she also has accommodations because she has a medical condition, ADHD, you know, that, like, she has severe ADHD. So, like, she's failed this entire year, which means there's been no improvement, and they're not following her 504 accommodations. They haven't cared to even call meetings. I've had to call the meetings. They're just allowing her to fail. Like, they don't fucking care. And so, yeah, if they can't meet her accommodations and they can't provide her with a safe place and they can't follow her 504 plan, and there's no improvement, which there hasn't been any improvement all year, then that school needs to provide her transportation to a school that can legally. And so if improvement doesn't happen, I mean, she's moving out, period, whether improvement happens or not. But if they don't get their act together, I could make them provide transportation. I could get a lawyer. I could force them to provide transportation to and from this new school. And so this is kind of their last chance to prove on paper that they can. And I don't know if it's going to happen, but I also feel like at this point, like, because we kind of we're not fucking around and they know it. So I kind of feel like at this point that the teachers are just going to give her a passing grade, but she probably won't, like, actually be getting work done. Like, they're just going to just pass her so we don't have to deal with everything else that comes along with not passing her. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm gonna go into this shade right here. So it's been a lot, and that meeting took a lot out of me. I'm so glad that I took the day off of work. That meeting was about 2 hours long, and I'm exhausted. So yeah, I'm glad that I took the day off of work yesterday. Because after that meeting, I was just fried. I'm gonna go into this shade. Yeah. Like, Amy, my daughter's other parent, led the conversation, and then I finished it off. So it was kind of nice because I do feel like I was able to discuss, like, where I was at, and Amy was able to discuss where she was at, and we got higher ups involved in the school. So now school once again has to answer to them, which means, you know, everybody, you know, they're being called. It doesn't look good on them. They have to answer to them, and that means, you know, the director and not the director, the superintendent and stuff probably hears about this shit too. I don't know, but it's just, I'm so done with that. I'm gonna go into this. Yeah. And it's bad because I work for the district too, and it sucks because I have insight to, like, I know that people aren't trained. I know what's happening. I know that not all staff members are safe. Like, it's terrible to know these things and, like, know that my daughter is in that situation. So, like, I had somebody tell me, well, you can't expect to change everybody's views. You're right. I can't. I'm going to go into that bright green again. I can't change how people think or how their views of trans children or people are, right? Just like most people who are racist are just going to be racist pieces of shit, and you can't change that, especially now, okay? Because now everybody knows there's so much information available to people to start educating themselves and rethinking the things that were taught to them or instilled in them. And so I know that I can't change people, but when you're in a workspace, you don't get to, you're held to a different standard. So you don't get to go to work, and you don't get to, like, I don't know, at a school district, a public school district, you don't get to push Christianity. So you don't get to push your beliefs or values or things like, you can't push political values on students. You have to remain mutual. You don't get to be openly racist. You're at a workplace. So unless you are working at a workplace that allows things like that, you don't get to be that way. You just don't get to be that way. So in a setting like that, like, I'm not expecting that everybody is going to change their views on those things, but I do expect them to not be allowed to act like that, right? Because it's a professional setting. Like, I don't get to dress the way I want to. I don't get to cuss. I don't get to, like, right. Like, does that make sense? I don't know. And so, yeah, these people will be false, like, their kindness or the way that they handle situations or the things that they say, like, you don't get to misgender my daughter, may not be, like, true in their heart, but at the very least, she'll feel a little safer. And there's a lot of students, especially at the middle school level, that don't have parents that support them in their LGBTQ status. And the only safe place that they have is school. And at school here, you're allowed to say, I want my pronouns to be this, or be a part of, like, the Alliance Club and stay, be openly queer or gay or trans, and make it so the teachers can't tell your parents because some parents aren't safe. Now, that means that the teachers need to be safe. Things need to be safe for these students who don't have that at home, even. So I'm just so done. I'm just so done fighting with this school. I'm gonna go into Party Monster by Gimme Glow. This came from Andi Does Stuff. I can't anymore. So the school that I found is a project-based school. So, it's project-based learning. And there's 15 students max per class. 40% of the students there are queer. There's another, like, high percentage of students who are on the spectrum. The staff is more diverse. A lot of the students came there from being bullied, so bullying isn't something that really happens there. And yeah, so that's where she will be going, but there is a wait list. So she probably won't be able to get in until midway of next year. I call in June to see where she's at on the list. And I'm just hoping that it's not too long. So it's been a mess and it's been hard. And yeah, my heart hurts for my daughter. My heart hurts for other children in that district. As a queer staff there, I'm not safe. I'm not fully open. I don't force people to use my pronouns. I mean, like, I don't know, like, as a staff member, I know it's not safe. So how do I expect? I know that the students aren't. I'm gonna go into Guacamole from the Glam Light palette. So I'm just kind of over it, and I'm kind of hoping, to be honest, that they're unable to make any progress on her grades because I will force them to provide transportation, and that would be so helpful for me. Because it will be affecting me. It's going to cost me more. It's going to affect work schedules. It's going to be a challenge. Like, yeah. So anyways, now that you have heard me discuss personal things and what's been on my mind lately, I am going to go off camera, throw on a base and lashes, maybe just mascara, I don't know, and I'll come back and I'll show you a close-up because you're gonna want to see it up close. It does look a little bit muddy, but I think up close it looks better. And I think that this look will look better once everything else is done, and then I'll give you my thoughts on this palette and my first impressions and stuff, and wrap everything up. Please don't go anywhere. Okay, so this is the finished look, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, I like it, and then I don't like it. It's a unique combination, and not something I would have thought about or would have done if I wouldn't have like used this palette. Of course, I use 2 shimmers outside of this palette because these shimmers are really dark. I really like the way that this performs. I had no issues with performance. It wasn't dusty at all. No fallout. But I don't know. It's a really unique color story. I think it's pretty. I'm not sure that this is a standalone palette for me. I think that I would have to bring in other things. And it's super unique, so I do think that every time I use it, that the colors or the look that I come up with would be very unique. There are 4 mattes and 5 shimmers, so this one, this one, this one, and this one are your mattes. I don't know if you saw that. And then you have your shimmers here. So it's interesting. It's very unique. I'm excited to have this. I love the way it looks, even if I don't use it as a standalone palette. As far as this look goes, I don't know. You'll have to let me know down below because I have mixed feelings about it. I don't think the lippy that I used matches. It's a different kind of green, but I wanted to put it on. It's the Plan 9 from KVD, which I got in a Bizybeautystore box. Probably a black would pair better with this, or maybe like a brown, or even an maybe a like eggplant kind of color to go with a little bit of purple that's shining through. I don't know. But anyways, let me know down below what you think of this look. Thanks for listening to me chat about my daughter and issues at her school. Yeah. Hope to see you next time. Bye.